Good morning, guys. Welcome to Bathrobe Business. I am Georgi Oganov. It is 8:21 a.m. And as you can see, I'm not in my bathrobe today. I am getting ready for work, just about to head out the door, and just wanted to cover some of the stories of the day. So let's get right into it. Today's major story is inflation. Inflation. Inflation is up year over year, 4.7 versus 4.4. So that's a year-over-year estimate, but then even scarier, month-over-month, it's 0.6. So this is a little concerning given the fact that we have got powerful headwinds in the face of the Fed raising rates, and yet still we're not seeing a deceleration in inflation, we're seeing an increase. So this is not surprising given some of the data we've been seeing, right? Producer price indexes have been up, consumer price indexes have been up, and now we get this number. It's just a raw inflationary number, including everything, I believe, except for gas. And gas currently is not up. However, every indicator is showing that gas is going to be up for the summer. Currently here in the state of Utah, I think our average is about $3.70 a gallon. That's an empirical number. I just see that literally on the gas station as I head in and out of work. There's this large gas station that has this massive sign that I can see from a mile away. Yesterday it was $3.78 a gallon, but I think our state average is about $3.70. And every indicator says that as summer travel begins, this number is going to rise. I heard an analyst yesterday on CNBC talking about how it's probably going to go above $4 and probably near to $5. So that is concerning because already in the face of so much inflation, we're also going to have to be dealing with gas. That's not surprising, seeing also as much as how much travel is up. So Booking.com this morning reported that travel bookings are up to record numbers. So we're above pre-COVID numbers. And we've talked about this in previous videos where people are traveling more. Boeing is increasing its production of airplanes by almost 50%. It was actually 40%, but a very large number just because they cannot produce planes fast enough. Bookings are up. Hospitality and leisure is one of the biggest sectors for hiring right now. It is adding the most amount of jobs, and it is the sector that has the most in demand and open hires. So travel is up, and that's going to lead to higher prices in gas, which is a little concerning because gas so often underpins all other inflation. Even us personally as a business, our costs go up for shipping. That's going to be probably reflected in the number. It's not something I like to do. We are very much in a market where prices are a factor. If our doctors can cut costs and go to someone cheaper, they will. But if prices do continue to rise on everything, and then into addition you bring gas into that, it's going to be a problem. So this is very concerning. What I think is interesting is what Jamie Dimon had to say. And why I'm going to quote that is because he came out very critical of the Fed, which I understand why. He said that the Federal Reserve seems to have lost control of inflation. I agree with that statement to a point. At the same time, I don't think there's much the Fed can do in a lot of these issues. All they have in their toolkit is raising interest rates. There's also balance sheets, how much debt they're holding. That's a different story. But I think a lot of the inflation right now has nothing to do with the base Fed number or balance sheets at the Federal Reserve. A lot of it is supply chain, and a lot of it is open positions, right? We have more positions that we can fill. And because of that, employers are competing for employees. I myself am. We are going through a job hire right now. We are offering a $3,000 sign-on bonus. We are hiring the new person at a wage higher than their predecessor. And their predecessor was only at that position for a year. So they, after a year, they said, no, we got another offer. It's, about 10% more than I'm making right now. I have to take it. They left, and the new person coming in to replace them is asking for an even higher wage than that person was making, in addition to bonuses. So we're having to compete for talent, and that's happening everywhere. And that's what's really driving inflation. Whether the federal interest rate is at 4%, 5%, 6%, isn't going to affect if I can find employees to do the work. And that's one of the primary reasons inflation continues to rise. What I did find interesting was that Jamie Dimon has come out saying that the U.S. economy is looking strong. And why I think that's interesting is because a year ago, he was kind of fanning the flame of inflation. His current quote says the U.S. economy right now is doing quite well. Consumers have a lot of money. They're spending it. Jobs are plentiful. It was, I believe, May or April of last year, Dimon was talking about how there's a dark cloud looming on the horizon. Everybody was really concerned because Jamie Dimon, head of one of the world's largest banks, probably has access to data we don't. But it's funny to see how even someone like that can be so wrong about the economy. The economy continued to rise, and we did have 2 quarters of negative GDP last year, but then the subsequent third and fourth quarter accelerated, job hiring increased, inflation unfortunately continued, but so did spending. And so it's good to see that he is seeing that as well. In other news, the Dow is down about 400 points right now in response to the Federal Reserve number. Actually, no, I'll correct that. 500 points now, as of now. Gold, our old friend, is actually down as well, which makes me very happy. As I've said before, gold is an indicator that nobody talks about, but when gold is high, the economy is doing bad. When gold is low, the economy is doing good. And gold continues to drop. So it's dropped to 1818. Let's not forget that a couple of weeks ago, it was near 2000. And it's continuing to drop week after week. And I think that has to do with the fact that the economy is doing quite well. That's pretty much it as far as what I wanted to cover as today's news stories. Just kind of a side note, there was a fire at a Ford EV facility, and so they're going to shut down production of the Ford F-150 Lightning. That's unfortunate. I just think that was interesting because I just think EVs are interesting, but that's not really that grand of a story. I will give you a little side note of what I'm doing in my business today. So this also does play into federal interest rates. So because we are now fully aware that interest rates are going to go up, I am going to be seeking a loan, a business loan, here in the next, fingers crossed, month. So a little bird told me that a business owner is planning to sell his laboratory business. As you know, one of my businesses is a dental laboratory. We fabricate dental appliances. And there is a gentleman on the other side of town who is considering selling his lab. I'm going to go meet with him today. He doesn't know that. It's a surprise. But through a friend of a friend, I heard that he's considering retiring and selling his lab. In fact, he's not even thinking about selling. He might just be closing down. So I'm going to go to him and say, hey, don't sell it. Don't close it. Just sell it. And if that does happen, we will be seeking a business loan. We'll probably be going SBA. Even though SBA loans are slow and clunky and have a lot of regulation, they usually give you better terms. You can get longer term loans. You can get lower interest rate loans. And they're very secure. The bank is very likely to give it to you. They're not going to be as finicky with your debt ratios because it's all backed by the federal government. So if that happens, we will be seeking a loan. And I'm going to try to close it as quickly as possible simply because inflation continues to rise, and that means the federal funds rate is going to rise. I would be seriously surprised if Jerome Powell does not raise interest rates by 0.75%, because he's been raising it by 0.5%, 0.25%. It's been a while since the 3/4 hike, but just given the fact that inflation is accelerating, the jobs data we've had in the last couple months, the fact that every single metric, with the exception of gas, is going up, there's no way he's not going to do it. And let's not forget, everybody's talking about, oh, the market's down. Mortgages are still up. Yes, individual housing prices are down, which is kind of what you want. They were astronomically high. But home sales are still up. Refinances are up. Even though he's raising interest rates, the market is not slowing. So he is going to be taking action. That's why I'm going to try to close this loan here in the next month and a half. How possible that's going to be is a question, because SBAs are notorious for being slow. But with every fiber of my being, I'm going to try to push that needle to be able to close it if this gentleman does end up selling. So I will give you an update on how that conversation goes on Monday. Hopefully it goes in my favor, and I'll have good news for you guys. Hope you have a great weekend. Hope you stay warm. Here in Utah, we are freezing. and winter does not seem to want to end. But hopefully, wherever you guys are, it is warmer and it is better. I wish you guys the best. I hope you set amazing goals. I hope you meet those goals. And I will see you guys Monday morning. Thanks. Bye-bye.